Colombia's leftist FARC rebel group has unveiled its political party at a conference in Bogotá. It's a major step in its transition into a civilian organisation after more than 50 years of civil war. The party, which is as yet unnamed, is due to spell out its campaign manifesto for next year's elections.
Tenemos por delante.
FARC's commander addressed the conference saying, "We have in front of us many challenges and many difficulties.
Nada es fácil.
Nothing is easy in politics, much less any revolutionary activity. The regime and the system are not made for us, but we are immersed in them now and we're willing to change them."
Pero estamos inmersos en ellos y dispuestos a cambiarlos.
FARC's members were allowed to participate in politics under the 2016 peace deal with the Colombian government. The group's also handed in more than 8,000 weapons to the United Nations under its demobilization. Thousands of demonstrators in Guatemala have turned out to protest against the country's president as he engages in a face-off with the courts. The power struggle concerns this man, Iván Velázquez, the UN's anti-graft chief who's investigating President Jimmy Morales and his party for corruption. In a video on social media, the president ordered the expulsion of the respected Colombian prosecutor, declaring him persona non grata in his role as commissioner of the International Investigative Commission. The country's constitutional court has blocked the expulsion order, but Morales claims it cannot interfere in what he said was a foreign affairs matter. The reaction from anti-government protesters has been to call for Morales to leave and for Velázquez to stay. This protester says, "Unfortunately, justice has been corrupted by the mafia political system. That's why we're not calling for Velázquez to go, but first Jimmy Morales must go for being corrupt and a thief." The probe into Morales is linked to illegal campaign funds in the 2015 election.
Residents of Houston, Texas have been asked not to leave their homes as flooding caused by Hurricane Harvey has made roads impassable. And with emergency services at full stretch, it's down to locals to rescue their neighbors from houses underwater.
They started grabbing different neighbors, getting them out of their single stories, getting them up into the second story here. So we had about, last count, 11 people, 6 dogs, 2 cats. So it's been kind of a Noah's Ark for the last 7 or 8 hours.
High water vehicles are ploughing through waterlogged roads to haul entire families to safety. But emergency services can't keep up with calls for help, as authorities instruct the public not to dial 911 unless their life's in immediate danger. And whilst people are grateful to be rescued, their thoughts inevitably turn to the destruction being visited on their homes.
Donald Trump is facing further fallout from his handling of the violence in Charlottesville earlier this month. His Secretary of State has now pointedly separated himself from the president over the issue of race. It came in an interview on Sunday with Fox News when Rex Tillerson was asked about Trump's values and about the president morally equating white supremacists with individuals protesting against them.
I don't believe anyone doubts the American people's values or the commitment of the American government or the government's agencies to advancing those values and defending those values.
And the president's values?
And the president speaks for himself, Chris.
There have been further anti-fascist protests, this time in San Francisco at the weekend. Hundreds turned out for the rally despite the authorities having cancelled it, fearing it would attract right-wing activists just 2 weeks after the clashes in Charlottesville.
The Russian President Vladimir Putin arrives in Hungary on Monday for a state visit with a difference. Officially, the world leader's love of judo is bringing him to Budapest for the opening ceremony of the Sports World Championships. He is, after all, the honorary president of judo's governing body, the International Judo Federation. But the trip, his second this year to meet Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, is also about strengthening ties with a rare EU ally. Putin will be given an honorary citizen award in recognition of Russia's role in developing the Pax nuclear plant, Hungary's first and only atomic energy facility. That's far from being their only common points of interest. Many of their fiercest critics say both men have taken similar action to quell popular protests over wide-ranging issues such as civil rights and press freedoms. Brussels and Hungary's neighbours have also expressed concern over Budapest and Moscow's new relationship, fearing it may weaken Western sanctions imposed over Ukraine. Both leaders may well want to talk tactics regarding what Orban calls the New World Order.
At least 13 people have been killed and many more injured in a car bomb attack in southern Afghanistan. The attack took place in Helmand province, in an area which has recently seen heavy fighting as government forces have battled for control with Taliban insurgents. Sunday's bombing targeted a military vehicle. The victims included both soldiers and civilians. The blast comes just days after a deadly car bomb attack near the main police headquarters in Lashkargah.
Programa com mais de uma década de informação. Número 1